Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Had a busy Friday, but we're good. There's a subject I want to talk about, and it's about being bullied in school and how that affects your adult life. I don't know if you guys have. I was bullied through all my grades of school, and I was actually bullied by some of my teachers, and that's even bad. What's interesting is I never said anything to my parents. I just dealt with it. And a lot of the people that were bullying me, because I lived in a, pretty rural community with a small school and that kind of thing. And I never said anything to my parents. I didn't until years later, after I left and graduated from high school and got the hell out of there. And I don't mean to use the hell, but I had to get out of there. That's all I wanted to do. And that was my main concern when I was going through the bullying, is I tried to become friends with a lot of these people that were bullying me. Now, it sounds weird, but that's what I did. And it's funny because my dad even talked to me about it afterwards. He says, "You never said anything." And he goes, "Some of the people that bullied you were your friends." And I said, "Yeah, Dad, because I always knew at a younger age that if I was friends with some of these people, that it would reduce the amount of bullying that was happening with me." I mean, it still happened, but it didn't happen to the degree, and maybe that's why I didn't say anything. My parents asked me, "Why didn't you come to us and talk to us?" And I said, "Because it would have just made it worse." I'm 10 years old getting bullied, and that's the way I was thinking. So it's just, I didn't really have. It's interesting how I handled it as an adult. I never really had anybody bully me, but I had other friends that were being bullied by other people, and I would fight for them and stick up for them and say, "Knock this stuff off. Stop letting your friends do that." And it's interesting. I was an adult. And so as far as the effect that it had on me, I just wouldn't let it happen. If people were going to try to bully me on this or that and that kind of thing, even at work, I had this was just 15, 18 years ago. I had a guy, and my employer didn't. I reported something that was going on that I felt like, and this kid was posting it on social media, and it was about the place I worked at, and I didn't think it was right. And it made us look like, not a very good reputation. And so I reported it to the general manager. And of course, the general manager was a complete idiot. He didn't know anything. He was just eye candy and I never understood but he ended up losing his job many years later. But, it was bad. It was bad to the point where the guy did some things to my car at the parking lot. I mean, it wasn't anything bad. He put like Vaseline on my door handle so I couldn't get in my car, which he's really stupid because I had keyless entry. So I just opened it and got in the back door and opened the front door and just got in my car and went home and cleaned it. That's how stupid this guy is. But he wasn't the brightest bulb. And what's interesting is I actually helped the guy because he's a complete idiot. He couldn't handle anything in life really and generally, and that's why he was just an idiot and didn't make right choices, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I digress on that. But yeah, I mean, that happened, and they ended up firing the guy. But when I called the police, basically the police officer said, "If you're at work, this is a hostile work environment." And he was doing it to a couple other people, and they just didn't report it. And so they said, "No, your employer should have called the cops." But anyway, that's a whole different thing, and it doesn't matter. I don't work there anymore. I don't have any contact with the guy, but he ended up getting fired. And it was for the best. I mean, it really helped the establishment thrive after he left because he was just an idiot. But I digress on that part. But I'm just kind of curious what you guys think if like I said, it didn't really affect me to the point where I was not a confident person. I think it made me a stronger person to be bullied because the people that were, doing mean things to me were very insecure. And it's interesting how they thrived in life and basically stayed in the same town that I was raised in, that I left, and didn't do much in their life. And I had the people that stood up to those bulliers for me. They ended up leaving, getting the hell out of there too. But they defended me and helped me through a lot of the things. And that's what I told my dad. I said, a lot of people were, defending me and standing up to these people, and they couldn't take it because these people were normally not those kind of people, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you guys have had this, been bullied early on in your life. So, I mean, it never really happened now. And I think that's a big thing for me now, why I've set boundaries, why I've gotten clear-headed, over, dysfunction friends. And I realized that a lot of my friends, we had a trauma bond. And we both had trauma as kids. Something happened in our childhood that was the same. And so you bond with those people. And I think a lot of people dwell on their childhood and what happened. And, that's fine, but you shouldn't dwell on the past. You should get over the past so you can create an awesome future for yourself and improve yourself. And that's what I did. And that's why I've ended a lot of friendships. These people were disrespecting me, like I said before, and I don't need that. I like being alone. I like Tom, who Tom is. I have, and I don't need that. And I think, and it's because I'm cleared myself up and I'm okay with what happened in the past, and you kind of move on. And that's what I did. And I kind of did it early on, but then it kind of came back because I had all these people that were disrespecting me. And I thought a true friend was not the type. And, you talk to them about it and they just keep doing it again. It's like, I don't need this. You're not a true friend if you're going to sit here and disrespect me and call me out on stuff and say stuff to me to try to manipulate me to get what you want me to do for you. That's not a friend. I should want to do it in the first place. And when these people wanted me to lie for them and do all this stuff, I said, no, I'm not even going to lie for myself if I'm in that situation. So don't try to sit here and that's a lot of the people, I'm going to tell you the truth. And no, I'm not going to do it. It's against my morals and values. Just because you don't have morals and values and you act like white trash, trailer trash, hillbilly trash, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to go down that road. And a lot of people said, or a few people said, well, you're not my friend then. And I said, well, if me not lying for you is not a friend, then we were never friends to begin with. And that's what I'm saying about my past relationships with people and friendships. I let them go because they were disrespecting me. They were being nasty to me. And then they would try to manipulate me to try to do what they wanted me to do and try to distract or deflect it on me that it was my fault when they're the ones that are doing it. So they weren't addressing their problem. And that's the thing with being bullied in school. I just tried to figure out a plan for myself and help myself. And one of them was just trying to be friends with these people. And when I was friends, the bullying was less. But then they wanted me to bully other people. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to join the crowd just because you want to do this. And then you want me to do this because you did it to me. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. If it happened to you as far as being bullied as a child. And I was bullied up until my sophomore year. Sophomore year. Senior year, people got more respect and then stopped doing it. But they started doing it to the younger grades that were coming in, freshman and sophomore. They were trying to do it. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's funny because I had a lot of people say, oh, you bullied people when you were in your little group. And I said, no, I never bullied it. You just took it at that. You're trying to call me out to make me feel bad. And I didn't bully you. I was, maybe the kids in my group maybe bullied you at one point, but I never bullied anybody because I was being bullied. Why would I want to do that? You don't tit for tat. Anyway, so let me know in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.